Rain hit the tin roof of Webb & Son Auto at 4 in the morning, and Marcus Webb was already awake, wrench in hand, a single bulb swinging over a car hidden under a tarp in the third bay. His son Dante slept on a cot in the back office, 7 years old, homework folder tucked under his pillow. Marcus wiped his knuckles with a rag gone gray with age. On the wall, a calendar showed the 15th, circled in red. 3 days left. Somebody wants this place, and they don't want to wait. A black SUV idled outside the fence, headlights cutting the drizzle. 4th night running. He's not selling. Watch how far they'll go to make him. Reginald Thorne represented a development group buying up the block. He offered 4 times the assessed value, then 5, then showed up in person. Everyone says no at first, Thorne said, stepping around an oil stain. Then they see the number. Marcus didn't look up. Buildings not for sale. The staircase began fast. A false noise complaint from a vacant address. A zoning challenge questioning his father's decades-old permit, costing Marcus days and a lawyer's fee. That's twice. You think that's the end of it? Buckle up. Then his insurance was canceled after an anonymous safety complaint, an inspector he'd never seen writing up violations that had passed for years. New coverage cost triple, draining Dante's college fund. Somebody's counting on him breaking. He's not breaking yet. Then, worst of all, his front window smashed at dawn, red paint across the door reading "Sell or Else." Police found nothing. Marcus boarded the glass and sat up all night with a bat across his knees. 4 incidents, 4 escalations. Nobody knew what was under that tarp. What nobody in town knew was that Marcus had spent 6 years in Modena, Italy, training under a master restorer, earning a rare authentication credential held by fewer than 30 people alive. He'd never told a soul. Under that tarp sat a 1962 prototype, one of 2 ever built, its twin long presumed destroyed in a fire decades back. Marcus had found the frame by accident in his father's inventory and quietly restored it in stolen midnight hours. Not to sell it, but because his hands needed something whole while everything else was being taken apart. Thorne returned with a blank check. Name your price. Marcus set down his wrench. You broke my window. I had nothing to do with that. Get out of my shop. That week, the bank called his loan due in 30 days. A risk reassessment that had never happened to any other account. $4 million offered. All he wants is to keep what's actually his. Marcus called the one number he'd saved for 11 years. Priya Anand, senior authenticator at a major classic car registry, a former colleague from Modena. I need your help, he said, and bring cameras. 3 days before she arrived, someone tried forcing the lock on Bay 3. It held, but a hidden camera caught 11 seconds of grainy footage. A man in a dark jacket with a crowbar, fleeing when headlights swept the lot. The jacket bore small gray embroidered letters, Larchmont Group. There it is, 11 seconds. That's all it takes to flip the whole story. Priya arrived with colleagues and, unexpectedly, a documentary crew already trailing her for an unrelated story. When she pulled back the tarp, she went silent. Marcus, do you understand what this is? Collectors have chased a rumor of this chassis for 60 years. Within 72 hours, 3 authentication bodies confirmed the numbers. It wasn't public yet, but in that closed, serious circle, it detonated. Word moves fast when the right person says it out loud, and Priya doesn't say things she can't prove. Thorne found out from a panicked investor and drove over himself. You knew, he said. This whole time. I knew what was mine, Marcus said. You knew what you wanted. Marcus played the footage. Jacket, crowbar, logo. Watch his face. That's the sound of a man's whole plan falling through the floor. That's not authorized. Doesn't matter whose name's on payroll if the jacket's got your company's logo, Marcus said. Copies are already with the sheriff, my lawyer, and the registry. Get off my property. Thorne left without another word. 2 weeks later, the county held a packed session. News vans lined the street. The commission chair read findings aloud. Vandalism traced to a Larchmont subcontractor, a falsified complaint from a company-owned address. An inspector paid a consulting fee before flagging Marcus's policy, and the break-in caught on tape. Mr. Thorne, anything to say to Mr. Webb? Thorne read from a prepared statement, hollow and rehearsed. Marcus, standing in back with Dante beside him in church shoes, said, "Say it like you mean it. Or don't say it at all. That's it. That's the moment everyone came for." Thorne set the paper down, hands shaking. "I broke your window. I had a man try to force your lock. I canceled your insurance out of spite because you wouldn't sell me dirt I thought I was entitled to. I did that to a single father raising a kid alone. I was wrong. I'm sorry, Mr. Webb. I'm sorry to your son." No one clapped. The chair nodded once. Let the record show. Now restitution. Larchmont was fined heavily for the fraud, but Marcus made the request that defined the case. "I don't want the fine for me. I want it to build something." The county redirected it into a trade apprenticeship housed at Webb & Son, funding tools and tuition for local kids. Priya's Registry Foundation matched it annually, on one condition: keep training students, not just cars. He turned someone else's dirty money into someone else's clean future. That's better than revenge. 6 months later, the boarded window was long gone, replaced and repainted. The old faded sign left untouched. The prototype sat finished under new light, its story known worldwide. Collectors from 4 countries came to fight over it, and over the shop's few open restoration slots. Marcus turned down record offers, choosing instead a museum rotation deal so kids could see up close what patient hands could build from scrap. Dante, 8 now, sat on a bucket in the corner most afternoons, homework open, sometimes handing over a socket wrench to feel useful. Thorne was pushed out of Larchmont within the month and left town for good. The garage that a man once tried to buy, break, and burn down slowly with paperwork became something worth far more than money, a place where a forgotten prototype came back to life, and where any kid with grease under their nails could find a bay open and someone willing to teach them everything he knew. Now look, this story's fiction. Every name, every garage, every gleaming prototype under that tarp, all made up. But you know good and well the feeling underneath it is real. You know somebody like Marcus, underestimated, pushed on, told to just sell out and take the money, who had something in them nobody bothered to ask about. So here's the question. When was the last time you watched somebody get counted out right before they proved everybody wrong? Drop it in the comments. And if this one got you, hit like. Share it with somebody who needs an underdog win today, and subscribe, because there's a lot more of these coming.